Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you're here. If you get a chance, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon below. It really helps get my videos out to more people, and it'll also notify you when I release new content and when I go live. So I'd appreciate that. Today, what we're going to talk about is a knife that's been around for quite a while. I did an overview on this knife, but I've had it now in my collection for going on, I'd say 2 years, maybe a year and a half, with several modifications. It's gone through different iterations, and it is a fantastic knife. The reason I wanted to do this review now is these knives are back in stock. They're a knife that comes in and out of stock quite often. Well, I say they go out of stock quite often. They come into stock, they're usually gobbled up, and then they're gone. When this knife is in its natural form, it comes with an S30V, very deep hollow grind blade, and it comes with the carbon fiber G10 laminate scales that we see out of the Taichung, Taiwan factory so often. It's those G10 scales, guys, that between you and me, I hate. It would be a negative that I would give this knife on the review. I hate the scales. I hate the speed holes in it. However, that can be changed because this knife's very modifiable. So in overall objectiveness in its natural form from Spyderco, I'm not a big fan of Spyderco clips because they're not deep carry. I put a Lynch clip on to resolve that. I'm not a fan of Spyderco's Taichung G10 carbon fiber laminate scales. I found some Raylight titanium scales for a very good price. I remedied that. Before that, I had some Smock custom scales for this. Before that, I had my Carta scales. So again, the great thing about this knife and a lot of Spyderco knives is they're very easy to modify and personalize for your own likes and dislikes. So when we talk about the Spyderco Smock, it is a unique knife, and it is a knife that I would almost say, and again, keep in mind everything I say is with a grain of salt, it was kind of one of the first fidget knives, at least that I became familiar with. I saw a couple of reviews on it, and it was the first real button lock, or this isn't a button lock, this is a compression lock. We'll talk about that later. But the way that it opened and closed, I found very, very appealing. Also found the knife, some people would say it's a very ugly knife. I might agree with that, but I'm one of those people that find beauty in ugly things, and I think it's just a smoking sexy knife. So in terms of my subjective opinion to what I like stylistically, I love this knife. I love the way it fills my hand. I love the way I can get a full grip on it. I love the way I can choke up on it and get inside that sharpening choil. It's not a finger choil, it's a sharpening choil, but my finger will get in there fine. I love the way that, and a lot of people complain that the handle is angular. It is angular, guys. I can tell you that this S30V is heat treated very well. This is a hollow grind blade that comes down to probably one of the thinnest edges that I've got. I don't think I have any paper. Let me rip a little piece out of my notebook, and this is that heavy duty paper. But yeah, I mean, this is one of, I don't know if it's been in my video of the sliceiest knives, but I've got several more slicey knives, and I'm going to do another 5 more very slicey knives. And this is definitely one of the sliciest knives in my collection, and I say that because I do have a lot of slicey knives. I also added this titanium back spacer when I ordered the scales. This normally comes with standoffs. So as a standard knife, you get S30V, you get a regular Spyderco clip that y'all all know and love. You get the carbon fiber, the G10 handles. If you go to Amazon today, you can buy this knife for $201. If you go to Blade H Screw, you can buy the same knife for $212.80. No negativity towards Blade HQ. That is a great price for this knife, and what you see at other retailers that happen to have it in stock. Blade HQ just happens to have it in stock. So one thing in terms about modifications, if you go watch videos about this knife, and I won't bear you with the technical details that I don't understand, this knife comes standard with a secondary detent ball. It's got 2 detents. And the secondary detent gives you kind of a snap when you close it. It doesn't give it that fluid, what I consider what we've all become used to with button lock drop, right? A lot of people don't like drop. Drop's not important. Get the knife, see how you like it out of the box. It's not quite as droppy as this version, but if you watch a video on removing the secondary detent ball, I was very early into my knife collecting hobby. I had not taken apart a ton of knives. When I watched the video and removed the secondary detent ball and the little spring that sits under it, and I keep it in my Spyderco box in case I ever sell this, I won't. I can give that detent ball back to the original owner or install it if they want it. But if you watch the videos and people's thoughts on this knife, one of the overall that I've noticed commonalities is the secondary detent ball is removed. It doesn't have to be, doesn't make the knife any less fidgety by not removing it. I just think it makes it better by not having it in there. And guys, when you see the knife not dropping, it's because I'm horizontal when I'm flipping it. This knife's also got a flipper tab. So you've got a couple of different ways to deploy it. You've got your finger hole, your Spidey hole, so you can Spidey flick it. You can thumb flick it. And it's got this flipper tab here. Now, I love the flipper tab. I love the fact that it's low profile. But one thing that I think they missed the bar on is there's absolutely no jimping on this flipper. Again, it opens so effortlessly, but if I've got a sweaty finger, I might miss that flip. It wouldn't have hurt anything to put a couple of just understated jimps here so you could get a good flip on it. Again, you can get a good flip on it. That was really the wrong terminology. You can see how aggressive the jimping is here on the spine to really lock your thumb in. But when I look at this knife from a deployment method, I would think you could just have easily put some jimping there, some texture, so you could really get, under any type of circumstances, a good lock or good lockup. I don't think that you would ever be able to fail this knife necessarily. It's just that you can tell that you don't have a lot of texture there. Again, it's a minor negative. It wouldn't stop me if I lost this knife today. I would go to Amazon probably and buy it. I might go to Blade HQ and buy it, but I would replace this knife. I would recommend this knife to anybody who was looking for a knife that they thought about the Smock, wondered about the Smock. And I'll give you all a little secret. There was a comment from a good brother on one of my videos that was a short that came out. I saw the comment today, but the video had been out for a while, the short. Maybe not. Maybe I did the short the other day. I can't keep those straight. But they commented on, do I still like the Smock? Because like I said, it's been around for a while. That they'd seen that it was back in stock and had some questions and reservations, but really wanted it. So that's one of the reasons that prompted me to film this video, which is being filmed on Thursday night, and it'll launch tomorrow at 6 a.m. Push my cue back a little bit. But I figure if he had the question, there might be other people that have the question, since Smock is such a sought-after knife and it is back in stock at a few places. Let's do a couple of quick size comparisons. That is the Smock next to the Cold Steel 4MAX. And that is the Smock next to the CVV Baby Banter. We can tell it's smaller than the 4MAX. No surprise there. Larger than the Baby Banter. No surprise there. And guys, just to give you a little more background on who Kevin Smock is, who designed this knife and partnered with Spyderco. I won't get into the drama. Y'all can Google it or Google YouTube and see what they say about the Kevin Smock drama. But when he designed this knife, he's basically, and accurately, regardless of all the other stuff, he is an award-winning interior or industrial designer, and he built knives too, made knives. He had a custom knife, if I'm not mistaken, it was the SK23, and it's very similar to this knife. If you look at it on his Instagram page, they look almost, well, this one's a little bit Spyderco'd up, but it does have the blade hole. There's Kevin's maker's mark. But anyway, I digress and squirrel brain goes off. So let's see how this thing looks compared to a Benchmade bug out. Just a little bit longer than the bug out. and a little bit shorter than our Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So if we get our Ben Peterson NAFCO titanium ruler that I cannot read, and we get some measurements off this, looking at the blade, it is going to come in right under 3.5, probably about 3.4. The handle is coming over right over 4.5. I'm going to call that 4.53, 4.54. And the overall length, even though my 6-inch NAFCO ruler doesn't make it up, I'm going to say that is right around 8 inches. Maybe just a skoge under 8 inches, 7, 9, something like that. The blade thickness behind the edge here, or not behind the edge, duh. The thickness of the spine is right around 0.11, 0.12, somewhere in there, close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. And behind the edge, guys, it's probably one of the thinnest knives. I don't run calipers and I don't want to cut myself, but very thin behind the edge. Very nice knife. What do I think about it? And if you've been thinking about a Spyderco Smock and you're not sure if you want one, or you're not sure if it's a good knife, it is still, with all the knives that I have in my collection, it is still 100% one of my favorite knives. I don't know if you can see the smuts in the hole there, but that smuts is finger goo because I use this knife so much. I carry this knife, if not weekly, bi-weekly. I love the Lynch deep carry clip. I would recommend finding some scales that you like to replace the factory scales. It's a really easy scale swap. Try it out with the double detent. I wouldn't recommend modding it unless you think you want it to be looser. Watch some videos on that double detent and the advantages and disadvantages of it. It's really to help keep the knife shut, guys, and there's some safety. You just watch some of the videos. I'm not going to get into it. But I took the secondary detent ball out. Simple mod. Scale swaps. I've gone through 3 sets of scales before I settled on these Ray lights. I want to say these Ray light scales were just a little bit over $100 for the titanium. They did take a little while to get in because I ordered them from a foreign country that a lot of the community hates. I don't hate anybody. I just debate, and, you know, we do that way. But, guys, I do give the Smock 2 huge thumbs up, regardless of the no jimping, regardless of the less than stellar factory scales. They're fine scales. I had this knife for probably 6 months before I did a scale swap on it. But I love it. It's one of my, definitely in my top 20, maybe even in my top 10. I haven't gone through my collection that closely lately, but I'm being forced to now that I'm having to look at things differently. So you'll see a lot of that stuff coming up, and I'm excited to do it once I get in that mode. So guys, thank you for stopping by. If you watch this much of my video, I appreciate it. Every time you come by, visit the channel, I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate hanging out with you for fellowship on Friday night flicks. I love you all. As I always ask when I close a video, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Be nice to one another in the chats. If you disagree with somebody, use the old form of debate instead of hate, guys. I love you all. Till we meet again, peace.